Boxing Bros UK. Count me amongst them.
Yes.
Christian boy right here, baby.
Hello everybody, this is Boxing Bros UK here. I am a Hiss the Boss Chris. This is my co-host Andrew, the Boxing Brain. Yes. And the topic of the day is the Ring 4 cards. Can't wait. It's going to be a fucking great night of boxing. When is it?
November the 22nd. So yeah, a little way yet. Got most of the time to enjoy it, and then this one.
This card,
and then Canelo, and then this one, probably.
This card is like when Turkey Al-Sheikh first came in the game. This is like one of them cards. Every fight is an amazing fight. We're going to do a brief overall video of all the main fights on the card. Andrew, take it away.
Yeah, so 4 world title fights and Beterbiev versus Dion Nicholson, which we'll get into in a minute, being added to it. I mean, bloody hell. You know it's a great card when Artur Beterbiev is probably going to be the first out on the main card. And that's mental, isn't it? But yeah, 4 world titles in one night, some unifications and all great fighters. First up, we have to start with the recent announcement that Artur Beterbiev versus Dion Nicholson. Beterbiev 21-0, as we know. 21-1, sorry. That one lost to Dimitri Bivol, 20 KO. So Dion Nicholson 22-1, 18 knockouts. But honestly, don't read into that. The guy's 34. His opposition's been shocking. Interesting fight, but it's still Artur Beterbiev. Obviously, the big one, you got Benevedez. Well, 2 big ones, but Benevedez versus Yard. I think we're all maybe hoping it would have been Benevedez, Bivol, or Bivol was going to fight Beterbiev. Anyway, I've got questions on that. Benevedez 30-0, 24 KOs, obviously recently up to light heavyweight. The WBC champ because Bivol vacated, you know, all that politics. Boxing fucking debacle that we all know and love, you know, which how you can walk. I saw the press conference of Benevedez walking out with the strap. How that can sort of feel justified, I don't know, but I guess he's next in line, so it is what it is.
He's an email champion, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't win it from Bivol, he's an email champion.
And then Yards 27-3, what is he, nearly 34, 35 now, 24 KOs, Arthur Vilkans, and then he always seems to do this, as you always say, Chris, he has two bum of the month campaigns, and then he goes in there with a killer. We'll get into it, but I wonder whether it's because it seems to get the best out of him when he's been.
To be fair to Anthony Yard, he hasn't done that this time.
Yeah.
Because he's not been in hard fights, but he's been in reasonable fights. He's not been in knockover jobs. He's you know? Yeah, true. I mean, yeah. And then moving on, because we'll come back to each individual fight briefly and give our thoughts. And Haney, the Dream. I like to call him the Dream because he puts everyone to sleep, but I think he has that alias for another purpose. Haney, the Dream versus Norman Jr. Really, really interesting fight, this one. Tough fight for Haney. Obviously, Haney, what is he, 32 fights now? This will be his 33rd fight, 15 0s. Devin, you can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man, Haney.
Yeah, we'll have the gingerbread. 28 0 and 22 KOs for Norman. Norman Jr.'s a tough operator. Won his last 3 fights by KO, power in both hands. The Assassin 2. But, you know, Haney, you know, he always comes to fight the best. You can't knock him for that. You can maybe criticise him a little bit for his performances. But Norman Jr. ranked #1 with the Ring magazine as well. And he obviously is the WBO champ. So Haney's obviously trying to become a multiple-time world champion. We've got a very interesting one, a guy from our shores, very close to us. Chris has interviewed him. Sam Noakes, heavy-handed Sam Noakes. Who's because of the whole Keyshawn Davis debacle, the WBO is vacant and he's fighting Abdullah Mason, who's very similar. Both had similar fights. Mason's had 19, 17 KOs, Noakes 17 and 15 KOs. So on a kind of similar path or similar kind of time in their careers at the moment, so that's going to be an interesting fight.
Radio Raheem is a really big fan of Abdullah Mason, so even though Radio Raheem supports the British guys, he's going to be a turncoat.
You said that in your interview.
The interview with Radio Raheem, he's a really big fan of Abdullah Mason, and he thinks he's going high places. And
we'll attach that video.
Up there, I'll put a card for it.
And then the last one, I say last, but by no means, I mean, many people might see this as fight of the night. Jesse Bam, I'm Double-R'd Rodriguez versus Fernando
Bam.
Martinez, who's absolutely
Who? Versus who?
Fernando Martinez, who's
I honestly, I thought you said Kiko Martinez. I was going to say, fuck me, that guy's not still around, is he? Fucking hell.
I don't think
if you was going to say him, I was going to pick him to win.
I'll tell you what, he's about 45 now, and he'll never make super flyweight.
Kiko Martinez.
Yeah, the Fernando Martinez, bam, 22-0, 15 KOs, 18-0 for Martinez and 9. Have I admitted 20 to only 15 KOs for Bam Rodriguez? Seems a little bit low. I might have to double check that. Obviously, Bam
or Wikipedia, because you can't be Wikipedia. You can't guarantee.
No, I always go by BoxRec for that, but I'm sure he's knocked out more than that. Check it on your phone, Chris. Yeah, 22 fights, how many knockouts? Because I've written that down and I thought that looks. So 7 fights where he hasn't knocked him out. That just seems. I know he's super fly. You don't get a load of knockouts, but Bam Rodriguez is particularly heavy-handed at that weight. But Bam is the ring champ, the WBC champ, as we know, the WBO champ, and this will be one step closer to undisputed because Martinez as the WBA, and he's also number 1 with the ring. And then it's just the IBF champ he's got to face, which is Garcia Perez, I believe, off the top of my head. So great fights across the board. Have you got that stat, Chris?
Yeah, 15 KOs.
Yeah, I don't know why, Chris. Right?
I just thought, no, that can't be real.
It can't be real because whenever I see his fights, he just figures so many kind of like highlight reel knockouts.
He's knocking people out now.
Yeah. So there we go, Chris. First one question is, what's the deal with the Beterbiev-Nicholson fight? Why is it happening?
What the hell happened to Bivol Beterbiev 3?
What happened to? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What happened to Beterbiev Bivol 3? Tell me, Dion Nicholson.
I know. What the hell happened to Bivol Beterbiev 3? Like, what the fuck is this Dion Nicholson shit? The thing that's annoyed me about this so much is, right, we have been waiting as fans for this fight to materialize. They told us at the beginning of July it's happening in Russia, and we've had no communication from anybody really, apart from the fight's going to be happening in Russia. And out of the blue, Beterbiev's fighting some fucking donut, some journeyman in a stay busy fight, and no one's come out and said, "Oh yeah, Bivol's injured," or he can't fight, or whatever's going on. No one's explaining why we're getting this Beterbiev fight. If anybody knows, please let us know. What the hell has happened? What was the point in vacating your WBC belt? Because you said you didn't want to fight Benevedez because you were fighting Artur Beterbiev because you said you was going to give him a rematch because he gave you one, to be fair. Yeah? That's what Bivol said. I'm a man of my word. I'll give you a rematch. So I'm going to vacate. And then now you're not fighting Beterbiev and you're not fighting Benevedez. So what the fuck are you doing?
I don't know if there's any updates or what, so I'm sure it'll all come out. But I think what's interesting, what my theory on this is, I suppose Beterbiev now, you know, obviously he's pushing 41 now. He's got to be close to that. Is his age beginning to catch up with him? It showed no signs last year in the second Bivol fight. Nobody, obviously, unless there's a world title strap on the line, unless there's loads of money, who's going to want to get in there against Beterbiev? You know, in this kind of fight. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, I don't really want to take that risk. That's the only thing I can think of where none of the challengers high up in the rankings wanted to take it or couldn't get them to take it. Then you get some random 34-year-old whose record looks good, but trust me, there's no one on there of any note whatsoever that you can base it on. But Beterbiev's probably just going to spark out within about 6 rounds, possibly.
The thing is, he does need to know what's going on. Let's say Bivol's injured, fight's been postponed, so Beterbiev thinks, I've got to get out this year at least once. So then he's going to be more active than Bivol. He might think he'll give him a psychological edge. But he don't want to have a fight that's hard whatsoever. Like you say, he's nearly 40. He doesn't need to put all his eggs are going in that Bivol basket. So this is just a sparring match for the fans, for him to just keep himself ticking over.
And what if this goes wrong?
He doesn't need to do that. He's got nothing to prove. He can do that, stay busy, take an easy fight while he waits for Bivol.
I can't see him losing, but I'll tell you what, I mean, if he has aged overnight, I just don't see it because he's such a brilliant professional. I mean, he's relatively inactive, Chris. I mean, he only tends the last 5 years. He only really fights once a year anyway. And maybe he just wanted to make sure he got a fight in this year, as you say.
Yeah.
But we'll see on that. Next question for you to pop up on the bar down below as well. Do you think this card is great? This is a great. This is right up there. This card, I think this is a fantastic card. It really is. But how much better would it have been if Bivol didn't vacate that WBC belt and they managed, in hindsight, I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, how good would it have been if it was Benevedez, Bivol instead of Yard? I know the Yard fight's still good, but imagine that, Benevedez, Bivol for all the belts.
Well, the only thing is, it wouldn't have been, it would have been for, the only thing is, Bivol, Benevedez for all the belts, like, you're asking the wrong guy here because
you like Yard.
I'm a Beterbiev fan.
Yeah.
I'm secretly hoping that he wins the trilogy and wins all his belts back. So for me,
I thought you might say that. That's why I wanted to ask it though.
For me, no, it would not. It's not much better. This is great. We've got a Brit getting a chance to win all the belts, and then Beterbiev is going to get himself into a mandatory position by winning this fight, I'm guessing, and force Bivol to fight him. Because maybe Bivol don't want to fight him. Beterbiev's for, okay, I'll have one fight, I'll be a mandatory, then you have to fight me. Give me the belts back. You don't know. So no, I think, and obviously Benevedez hasn't done anything at light heavyweight. And Beterbiev, Bivol 3 is the fight for me. And that's the only reason why. Had Bivol said, I'm not fighting Beterbiev, fuck you, I'm not giving you a rematch. I think I won the first fight. Do one. Benevedez, you're my mandatory. I'm keeping all my undisputed belts. I'll fight you. Had he done that, it would have been great. I would have been bang up for it. But how it is now, how the land lays, I'm happy. I'm happy Yard got a chance. I've got a sneaky feeling that he might win. I'm going to have a little punt on him. And Beterbiev, I want him to try and get his revenge.
Now I've got another little added question in there. You won't have to put this one up. It's just like a little extra because I know you fancy Yard for this one, but tell me and the viewers watching, listening in, however they're kind of, walking in the park and they've got us just on their headphones, maybe, for listeners out there. How does Yard get this? How does Yard get the win against a sort of high volume, pressure fighter like Benevedez? How does he do it?
As good as Benevedez is, like, people forget. Who's he knocked out at light heavyweight? Nobody. He's just moved up to this weight. And people forget he gets tired and he gets hit a lot. Think about every fight he's had. He doesn't cut the ring off. He walks forward in a straight line, high guard, tucks up, and he goes to war. And he has a tear up and he outworks people. And if he does that to Yard can counterpunch him and knock him clean out because his power and Benevedez's power is totally different. And Benevedez gets hit a lot. He does. All his fights, he gets hit a lot. He's not some defensive master. So he's always, and if you're there to be hit and someone hits very, very hard, there's more of a chance that you're going to get knocked out. And Yard always rises to the occasion. He's figured out, he's like, we've seen in the Lyndon Arthur fight, one bonus, even though it wasn't the greatest performance, he knows how to pace himself for 12 rounds now. Experience. Over Benevedez, the natural light heavyweight. And I just got a feeling. That's my opinion. You can put comments in and laugh at me after the fight if he loses.
No, I think it's fair enough. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Brit here, but just to give my take for the next question, I just worry how much is left for Yardy. I think the experience, I agree with that. Managing, navigating the fights more. He's learned because he's been in there at world level. Kovalev, Beterbiev, we know that. Absolutely. He's got all the experience in the world now. He won't go in there fearful of Benevedez whatsoever. I just wonder whether Benevedez might take him into a little bit of deep waters and he might struggle in the back end of the fight. But there we go. Difference of opinions there. Going on to Haney. Tough test for Haney at 147 for me this Chris against Norman Jr. What do you say? I mean, Norman Jr.'s got power in both hands and does everything really well. What do you think? Toughest fight of the night for this one?
It's not toughest fight of the night. It's going to be, I know, because Haney's just too good and he's too negative to make a fight of it. So Haney on points with
that's your instinct straight away. I think where I was going with that question, Brian Norman Jr. is big for 147. I know Garcia was packed to the eyeballs with the pharmacy. But I think we saw, Devin Haney had a terrible game plan in that fight, but we saw against the bigger man in there, the naturally bigger man in there that he struggled a little bit. So I think he is going to have to get on his bike a little bit to win this, because if he sits in the pocket in the centre of the ring with Norman Jr. trading, that will be definitely is not. I mean, we know that Haney can't punch for toffee. Let's be honest, right? Maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm honest.
He can punch, but he doesn't hold his feet, because if he holds his feet, there's a chance that he might get hit back. He can, if he wants to hold his feet, he can punch. At 147, he can, not hard, but he can. He's got respectful power, definitely, but he don't hold his feet. If you're always ready to run, you always have an exit strategy every time. Like Tyson Fury, his old style that beat Klitschko. Your feet, your heels are never on the floor for longer than a second, because even when you're throwing power punches, uppercuts, right hands, because you're always ready in case you need to, in case he counters you miss, to run. So you're never going to have power if you don't ever sit down on your shots.
Yeah.
Because look at Prograis fight. I know it was at 140, but, you know, Prograis a tough guy. And obviously, I think he knocked him down and he gave him a savage beating, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I've never been Haney's biggest fan, if I'm honest. Stylistically, I don't like him, and obviously stank the place out against Ramirez. You know, not sitting down on his punches, not planting his feet a lot. If he can't or won't punch, that there's the same outcome. You know, won't punch, can't punch. He ain't fucking. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to punch enough and have enough weight on the shots to keep Norman Jr. off him. But we'll see. He's certainly got the capabilities, Chris, of outpointing him. Because he's that good. You know, he's 26. I think it's the first time that I can remember, Chris, as well. He's got him with someone that's younger than him. I think Norman Jr. is 24. So that's that. Because Haney's he's still only 26. Can you believe that? 30-odd fights. 30-odd fights. Three-weight world champion. And he's 26. It's mad, isn't it?
Undisputed champion. Like, he's had a great career. Don't get me wrong. But he's not popular to watch.
Let us know, you know, because we do like to have a bit of devil's advocate and disagree.
One.
Will, get it up. Will, you've already alluded to this, but will Devon Haney run again? Bearing in mind Turki Al-Sheikh's new philosophy of I don't want any Tom and Jerry fights anymore. So will he?
Oh. Do you know what? This is his chance, to do what Shakur Stevenson did. A guy who's known for his power, hold your feet and get into a slug match, but Devon Haney won't do that, and I hope he gets sacked. I hope he gets fired. I hope he stinks the place out again. And they say, see you later. Say hello to Joseph Parker for me while you're in that waiting room of fights we're not paying for.
Yeah. Turki Al-Sheikh. The thing with Joseph Parker, just quickly on that, all right, he isn't probably the heaviest hand. He is more of a kind of, he's shown a little bit more of a different style under Andy Lee, but Turki Al-Sheikh loves guys that come to war, clearly. And I think you're right on that. If Haney stinks the place out, then that's not going to go down too well, I don't think. This might be a little bit of a second chance for him after that New York card. Turki Al-Sheikh might have slipped into his dressing room a few times or on this fight and be like, listen, come on, this is a good build. Don't let me down. Don't be running away, galloping around the ring like the Grand National. Did you say you think he'll run or not?
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry,
I shit in the woods. I think it does.
Yeah. I think he possibly might as well.
Look how long, it took him to start planting his feet.
Yeah.
Let's think to his early career when he won world championships and all that. Then the first time we seen this guy planting his feet and having a fight was against Prograis. And it took him about 5 years to build his confidence up to that.
Well, Garcia, but terrible tactics against Garcia.
So it took 5 years to build his confidence up to throw hands and hold his feet more. And now what happened with Garcia is finished. He's got to rebuild.
What I want to say on that as well, coming off the bat, you've just sort of inspired a memory. Something I know that's been obviously it's off the record because of the drug findings in Ryan Garcia. I still think that the damage that was sustained in that ring and the optics of it, and that obviously the world saw it, I still think that's created some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder on some. I don't know if haven't looked into it, whether he's seen a sports psychologist. I know he's very close with his dad. What I worry about for him, I don't worry because I'm not a massive fan. it's very difficult to exercise those demons. Once I've seen this with AJ Ruiz retrospective video, we talk about it. Once you've had a very damaging defeat like that, it is very difficult to recover. It's the same in life. It can have, the subconscious will retain a lot of that information.
Look at David Price. He never recovered Thompson defeats. Never.
Tony Thompson, twice.
Not Carl Thompson, Tony Thompson. He never recovered from them beatings. Never.
And I think that's where I'm going. And I wanted to because I think it's actually the mental side of it we don't always talk about in boxing, but that is part of the reason I think why he ran away and galloped around the ring against Ramirez. Because and what was bizarre with that Garcia fight as well is I remember distinctly in the post-fight interview, he said, I knew the left hook was coming all night. I know the arsenal that I'm paraphrasing that Garcia has. I knew it was coming, but I was sleeping on the shot the whole fight. Why? No, absolutely bizarre. So
if you know it's coming, you can just go like that. Just think about it. Just
hold
go
the phone,
that,
baby,
and jab around and move. Philly shell.
Hold the phone, baby. We saw that with Usyk, right? Just to quickly, I know we're going off, but it's important for viewers that maybe are watching that are new to boxing and people that are very schooled in offence and defence. And Usyk's a brilliant master of offence and defence. When he threw that Ivan that clobbered Dubois, if you actually slow that down, as he's throwing it, the right hand at the same time comes to protect his face from any counter shot, and he throws it over the top. That's schooling. That's doing it in sparring time and time and time again. Lock straight there. Whereas Dubois throws a shot, Chris, and then his guard's like out here or down here or something like that.
This is Dubois' defence. Like this.
Put him up.
Yeah, you can fit a fucking bus through his guard, mate.
We're going slightly off subject. So I guess I can see where you're going with Haney points win, which you believe will happen. But I've got a feeling this is a young man in there. I don't think Norman Jr. is going to let him off the hook the way Ramirez was. Ramirez, was an aging fighter. And I think he could be getting flashbacks like an army veteran reliving World War II in the trenches with gunfire going off his head. If you see the analogy I'm making, I think he might start to get flashbacks of what went on there. That's my prediction. And I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen because I want an entertaining fight. Last question, your thoughts on the other two fights that we haven't touched on. Thoughts on our Maidstone man, Noakes versus Mason, and Jesse Bam Rodriguez Martinez. One step closer if he wins this to being undisputed. He'll just need to pick up the IBF belt if he beats Fernando Martinez. Chris, what's your thought on those two fights as well?
Bam Rodriguez is just a phenomenal fighter for a little guy. This is just going to be another day at the office for this kid. Bam, thank you, ma'am. See you later. Yeah, Noakes versus Mason. That's something else. Obviously, Abdullah Mason is quite highly touted in America. Radio Raheem thinks he's very, very good. And he thinks he
does.
He thinks really
he ranked him.
And he's he's one of the good American fighters coming through. That's what he's telling us. Going to be a world champion. Sam Noakes is from Maidstone. I've interviewed him before. I'll add this Sam Noakes interview at the end of this video. It'll be on one of the cards.
His brother Sean.
Check that out. But yeah, I think 50-50 fight. Mason Noakes 50-50 fight. I hope our boy gets it. World title fight. For both these fighters, it's about fucking time that they went for the world title level, really. They've done all their learning fights and all that experience, been on their journey. This is what it is for them now. World titles are nothing.
Finish up on that as we kind of round up. Obviously, I'm really rooting for Noakes. My concern is you're looking at the psychology. Really good learning fight against your mate Walsh. I know you're a big fan of Walsh. Really durable guy. He's had knocked someone out after that. I guess my one concern is this is Noakes' biggest fight by far. Is for the obviously BO, because obviously that whole Keyshawn Davis nonsense. Massive card, huge names on that card, going to be loads of eyes on it. You can attest to this a bit more because you know him a bit more than me. And my one concern psychologically might be that he just freezes under the lights and gets overwhelmed. But perhaps you can help me out because you've seen him up close and spoke to him. There's a lot of pressure. Is he going to be able to handle such a huge event?
From what I've seen, he's cool as a cucumber. Takes things in his stride.
Right.
He don't crack under the pressure. Disciplined, knows how to follow game plan. He's fought on some big nights. Most of them obviously have been at York Hall, but he has fought in a few good undercards. So yeah, I've got all confidence in our man for sure.
Nice. Good insights. Thanks for that. Because I think it's good for people to know where we can kind of give other insights over other YouTube channels. Or they all have is that we're not only run this channel, but we're also on the field interviewing these guys as well. And honestly, that does play a big part because we can sort of have a look at their body language. Obviously, we're interviewing them, and we can get a sense of their character. Exactly. So I do think we can add more. We can qualify our opinions a little bit more.
Because we're in trenches.
We haven't been in the ring on their level or anything like that. But do you know what I mean?
We're there. Like and subscribe.
Boxing Bros UK.